Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Josie K Tarot. I'm Josie K, and this is the year of 2020 reading. All right, so I'm going to be starting out with the Oracle of Visions deck by Ciro Marsetti. It's a newer deck. Okay. So the energy I'm feeling right now for whichever Gemini's energy I am reading for during this general reading is someone who is or has been waiting passionately at a distance from a situation, a connection, or they're feeling burdened when it comes to a group of people, community, society, social media, technology, feeling stuck or trapped, contemplating, communicating a way to free themselves. So for this Gemini, going into January of 2020, I feel as though you guys will, because I feel as though this Gemini has been putting energy into obstacles involving money. They're putting in the effort and the time. And I think you've been receiving a lot of attention and recognition, but you're now contemplating the next path, more abundance. I think some of you are going to, in January and February of 2020, going to be receiving a lot of attention and recognition in the area of money, or in the area of, maybe for some of you, a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Now into and around June, July, the middle of the year for this Gemini, there is a desire or maybe even an opportunity to move into a new direction of sorts so that you can bring a quick and swift ending to an old connection, circumstance, situation. It could be that around the 10th of June, this Gemini decides it's time for the next chapter of my life. And maybe October, I'm getting fluctuating energy. So between August and October, it's going to be about trying to figure out clarity and obtain more wisdom about the next chapter, right? Going into 2021. So it's a year of really figuring out how to move forward, how to make some changes, when should I move forward. And I'm really just hearing that divine timing is especially at work for you, Gemini, at this time. So keep doing what you're doing, and in the end, you will start to see success. You will finally recognize a direction you want to go. Again, for some of you, it could be the 10th of June or July. Okay. So again, I am going back into the Oracle of Visions deck, and I'm going to be laying one card for each month. And in the first position, representing January of 2020, Gemini, you have the energies of balance. Number 49, okay? So in the numerology sense, 4 represents a foundation, a current home or business situation. And then 9 is about changing your current circumstance or situation, researching how you're going to move forward into the year of 2020 that is different than how you experienced or lived your circumstances in 2019. So in February, look at this. We've got the number 8, and the number 8 is about learning, right? Recognizing, learning, and growing, recognizing, learning, and growing, choosing, learning, and growing, and then recognizing what brought us out of balance and how now you're being lifted back into balance. Blessings are happening, I feel, around January 31st, where this Gemini is going to receive attention, recognition, and more money, which in turn is going to bring them greater balance. But there is something that this Gemini is being guided in February to recognize, and that is something that it's like something that wasn't unhealthy. I don't know if it's a behavior or way of thinking. Yeah, there's frustration here, I feel, going into from February to March of 2020, because this Gemini is still thinking about the past. But what was is what guided us to be where we're at today and to know what we were meant to know at this point in our journey, right? It lifted us into where we are. So in April, this particular Gemini is thinking about making a decision or is recognizing decisions tied to someone they're thinking about. 29, thinking about with the number 2, a connection with another, an old direction. And number 9, bringing something to an end, trying to recognize that an experience was and now it isn't. Yeah. So see, here in May, you're going to have the strong energies of number 26. This is about recognizing a journey, learning about yourself, growing spiritually, and now closing a door on a particular trial, right? A thought that became a reality that is now complete. So the number 2 is about successfully looking back at a connection. And with the number 26. Yeah, 6 is about success, starting a new direction of success, getting excited about going through the portal of a new beginning. 2 plus 6 is 8. Again, recognizing unhealthy patterns, behaviors, or cycles. Behaviors in April. Free yourself from old thoughts and contemplate and plan what you're giving birth to next in your life. For what you think is what you create. Gemini. So here we have June of 2020. Ooh, temptation. Gosh darn it, just as this Gemini says, okay, I've healed, I've learned, I've walked away, I don't want to make that decision. For some, are you making a decision because you think others will think something because there was a past situation? Don't worry about what others think. This is about really following your heart into a higher, better path because of what you learned through and about yourself for some of you in the past. So there's a spiritual transformation happening, I feel, from February into April. And then there's like this strength, I now am recognizing a new journey. I want to give birth to a new idea. Now there is some confusion here in June because of temptation. Is it in your highest, best good? Is it in the highest, best good of all? What is it you want to give birth to? It's time to obtain some wisdom about your long-term future. Yeah. Wow. In July, we have someone who I feel has been tempted in June in some way. And now they're being guided to sit back and relax and really think about how beautiful your life really, truly is. For some, I'm seeing a Pisces sign down in the water. To not burn bridges in July, but to instead think about contentment and be thankful for your current circumstances as you wait for this journey to manifest. So somebody's trying to create a new chapter. They're just getting frustrated. I think for some that's business related, and for others it's unhealthy something. Let's see, now you're coming into unity. Gemini, in August 2020, this is all about moving forward and letting spirit guide you to avoid unhealthy patterns, behaviors, or cycles that you were thinking about back in February. Or I should say in February. In September of 2020, we have the number 20. So this is about recognizing what you learned in the past and now taking off that blindfold and looking at things from a different perspective. In September. So now in October, we have the creative hat on, right? The decorations, the ideas. What is it I want to manifest? Now that I have shifted my beliefs in some way, I've come into unity with a form of temptation. But is it a decision I want to be remembered for? Back in April. So this is a year of thinking about purity. What is right? What you believe is right. And for some, it's like, gosh darn it, you can't let go of a situation because of the lesson involved. It was a deep lesson. For some, it was a lesson in, I was so hurt because of what transpired in the past. It makes me angry. It makes me want to make bad decisions. But I'm recognizing in November of 2020 that I'm trying to create a pure and happy and successful path. So to reiterate, in a 3-card summary to my left with the same Oracle of Visions deck, we have a brand new beginning, new ideas, goals, and intentions, planning your future, coming into harmony with others, maybe this feminine motherly energy, or waiting on something tied to the past, a message that may never come that's keeping you bound. Okay, in the first 4 months. Now that you know this, you can recognize and move on before May, but some of you may take until May to begin anew. But then there's temptation in June and July. Thinking about your decisions and beliefs in August and September of 2020. Walking in the energies of fantasy and illusion, and here's some advice on the bottom. Whatever it is you want to create, you can through your time and effort. So make sure you're not just laying there hoping, wishing, praying, and being frustrated because something's not just magically taking place, right? So there's a message here of getting clear with oneself about how you're going to move forward, to pray to Spirit, to make whatever you're wishing specifically for to transpire. And some of you are going to come to some form of realization and carry on that creative energy within around September and October. Somebody brings an end to a situation that they know is not pure, was not pure, or a decision that they don't want to be remembered for. So Spirit's saying, take your mind off that and put your energy back into how you're creating the next chapter. What are you doing that you enjoy, that you love? For some of you, you may be offered a new opportunity in April and May, and it's very tempting. But take your time making that decision. Some of you may be recognized in some way because of something you worked on, because you're going through this difficult realization of the self, but now you're receiving a lot of attention and recognition that opens you up to a completely new, exciting journey. The Spirit's saying, take your time researching the situation, remain balanced, get clear about your perspectives now, let go of what was, and move forward with your creativity in a very pure and happy, blessed way, because something is going to manifest. Something that you've been waiting for quite a while shows up around December of 2020, whichever Gemini this is. 40, 4 plus 0 is 4. Solid foundation in the area of business, home, money. Yes. I see endings. Almost like there's going to be an end, maybe around December 8th, where this Gemini recognizes that a wish finally came true and they can make a change and move forward with their lives and obtain wisdom about something they've really been waiting to be recognized for this year. Okay. Sorry, I just have so many downloads. The best way to listen to my readings, is to write down what it is you're hearing during the video. And then at the end of the video, ask yourself why you wrote down what you wrote down, what you learned about yourself because of what you wrote down, and how that applies to you at this time. Clarification, please, with the Gypsy Oracle deck for whichever Gemini I'm reading for during the year of 2021 card per. Yep, something ended, and in January, Spirit's saying, remember to remain balanced because something ended and some are not wanting to acknowledge that. And that's what that passionate obstacle energy is about, or was about, that I talked about earlier. Passionate about a situation, but there are obstacles. Yeah, recognizing in February. I feel like February is going to be a tough month for all because it's like we're having to stop and look into the spiritual mirror. And it keeps the Geminis feeling imprisoned and stuck because they have to or should let go of what ended so they can move forward in a balanced way. But this person is large and in charge and they're the boss of their journey and they don't like to hear anything, right? Gemini in March of 2020. Because there's stubborn energy. I want to still think of the past because the past makes me, makes me with the pleasure seeker energies, be able to go and do something unhealthy, connect with unhealthy people, places, circumstances, or thoughts. So be careful of that. Focus on your hobby, gift, talent, or skill, especially in the first half of 2020 here, Gemini. Now, by May of 2020, some form of consolation, right? Some form of gift is dropped upon you, and that puts you in the energies of number 26. 2, success. Two is a new direction. 6 is success. Some form of communication, consolation is dropped down upon you that makes you recognize that you can now move into a new direction. So this communication in June of 2020, so that was May going into June. There's all this in May and June. There's a lot of communication and temptation here and ideas and excitement about a new beginning. The temptation. There is temptation when it comes to communication with another in June if you're single and wondering about that. In July, Gemini of 2020, we have someone waiting on some form of temptation, communication. Now, this is the money card. Yeah, contemplating money. Okay, so that's what the confusion may be about. You're looking at a new path and a new journey, maybe around the 10th of June. And in July, we have a Gemini who's thinking about their current circumstances in comparison to a new direction having to do with money. A new job, a raise, figuring out a second income. Okay, in August of 2020, we have unity coming together with someone who could be a wife energy. I just heard, who will be my wife? Where does this come from? Is this the past? So there are thoughts about forward movement. Is there more than one person? For some, August is going to be interesting. All right, so September. We do have someone who is single here, a young woman energy who is ready for marriage, but she is shifting her perspective. Whether that's you or another. Are you a wife? Do you want to be a wife? For singles, you will recognize that you are ready to be a wife. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so some of you, as you're working on your finances, as you're creating something new in your own world, like a hobby, gift, talent, skill, money, creativity, whatever that is in June and July. By August, we have this wife energy. Really thinking about coming into connection with another, but also having a hard time letting go of the past. But don't let the past imprison you. In the beginning of the first couple months of 2020, Gemini, move on from that. Somebody is coming in, especially in April, to have a good time. Don't make a bad decision. Money is coming in June and July for someone, and they're also thinking about a commitment, a partnership. Do I want to come back into connection with this person tied to my past? Or I feel like you're recognizing in September 2020, Gemini, that your perspective has shifted. You're not focused on the same thing as you were in the beginning of the year. It's like you take off the blindfold in September, and in October of 2020, we have you creating something having to do with home or business, creating a connection with another. Or, yep, this is the next chapter of your life. Some of you are getting clear about moving in a new direction. I don't know if it has to do with business or home or a new location, but that will be taking place for whichever Gemini I'm reading for during this general reading. So in November of 2020, we have misfortune, and then we have thoughts of purity. I'm afraid for some Geminis, you need to be really, really clear in your thinking, especially if it has to do with someone in March that is tied to your past. So it's like you're thinking of your past in March, you're thinking of it back again in September. And it's blocking you from a path of purity, being represented by the bubbles here. There are energies of misfortune in November's monthly energy, but it could be that just the recognition that I knew this was unhealthy. I surpassed this pleasure-seeking situation tied to my past. I freed my mind and learned about myself and put my energy back into me, where I receive in June and July some form of money, even unexpected money, and you're like, wow, maybe I'm not going to come into unity with my wife or future partner now, but in September, because I'm shifting my perspective, I'm going to get clear about who I'm going to involve myself in and with regarding home or business, creating something in November and recognizing the misfortune of an old situation where someone here was just pleasure seeking and ended up being stuck in their thoughts in 2019. So in December of 2020, we have someone sign saying, you know what, I put a lot of energy into time, and time does not give back. I was waiting on communication from a situation whereby there was temptation, and now I recognize the misfortune. Therefore, I am ready for a real offer, a real opportunity in my own personal life. So you're going to be thinking, Gemini, around the 17th. The 17th of December, you're going to be obtaining more wisdom. I feel like Spirit's going to even give you signs and synchronicities about your long-term future. You're going to recognize a new chapter as soon as you free yourself from a misfortunate circumstance or connection. So a lot of people, it's like this is the year in 2020 to create great stability and to meet the right one. Let Spirit bring them to you and let go of what you're trying to create. For our human nature knows not this path of love, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, somebody's trying to learn more about something that ended, wanting someone to heal them. But now that Spirit's saying it's time for joyfulness and love. It's time for new and happiness, right? So you may be dreaming for something to be a certain way, but are you putting in the time and energy? Are you making the effort? Yeah, it's time to research what you want to give birth to. Who are you? This is the year to discover who and what you want to be remembered for, because Spirit's going to bring you wisdom about the right direction. And I think you're going to look back at how much time some of you may be wasted, but nothing is a waste of time, for it educates us and it raises us to a higher spiritual, more open level. So I think I'm going to close by pulling one card from The Journey of Love by Alana Fairchild. Closing message for this Gemini, please. Dear Lord, Spirit, Guides, and Angels, representing the year of 2020. Distant shores. Yep, somebody's going to travel at a distance at the end of the year because they've gone beyond confusion. They know then around November which was unfortunate or didn't turn out the way we wanted. And now Purity is you're obtaining purity because you now know where you want to go towards, because an offer has been made and a lesson has been learned. Look at this, distant shores, number 18 in numerology. Spirit is guiding you to recognize how you have transformed spiritually and now how you are ready, because your perspective is shifting when it comes to your creativity and success. How purity is leading you away from misfortune and into the direction you want to manifest. Somebody just quit manifesting because someone else came into their life and they lost their focus in their own journey. I'm just going to look at my notes for this card. So this card means to close with. Take and create an opportunity to travel. Travel light. So somebody here is just going to be traveling with just very little towards this opportunity. And the message here, it says, when travel arises, take it. So some form of success is coming your way if you'll continue to keep focused on you, your journey right at this time, because that's what Spirit's trying to guide you towards first. It may be, if you're single, that you won't meet the right person until you get into the direction that fulfills you most. And then Spirit sends love to us. So should these messages resonate and you'd like further information or your own personal yearly reading, just write me at my email, which is josiek42@gmail.com. My price list will be in the box below. Thank you to those of you whom have donated, shared, liked, subscribed, and even gotten these readings for someone as a gift. That's been super fun. Thank you again for stopping by. Take care and God bless.